All right. Let's get this thing going. Let's get it going. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Let me let everybody know on the gram I'm here. But damn it, I'm here. Let's see y'all come on in this room. Where y'all at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? All right. Y'all come on in the room, man. Let me let everybody know on the gram that we're live. Oops, one second. One second. Everybody come on in here, man. We are live when we're ready. It's going to be a great broadcast tonight. Hold on one second. All right, let me do this real quick. I miss y'all. I haven't talked to y'all in a week, man. I didn't do my regular podcast this week, man. I've been running around. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. One second. One second. One second. I've been running around with the kids. All right, let me do this. Bam. All right, now I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. All right. All right, man. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. So, what's going on with y'all, man? Come on in the room. Come on in the room. We're here. We got a lot to talk about on tonight's broadcast. Oh, man, I'm ready. I'm ready. And again, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for not doing the broadcast, my regular podcast this week. This weekend was my son's birthday. Two of my sons, it's their birthday. TJ and Asir, their birthdays are actually a day apart. Asir's birthday is on the 15th of Feb. TJ's birthday is on the 16th. So we celebrate their birthdays at the same time. And plus, that's a day, a 2 day. It's right after Valentine's. So it's, I celebrate my wife. I celebrate my two sons for the whole weekend. So it was a family-oriented weekend. And we had a party for the boys today. A lot of the friends and family came out. So we were doing that. We're doing a lot of planning for the boys' party today. So I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here, everybody. Somebody just sent $10 for the younger generation. Shout out to y'all hitting that CashApp. That's what's happening. Man, so much stuff we got to touch on. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button. Y'all see that thumbs up? Y'all see the thumbs up? Hit that like button. Hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button. Compton's always in here. Shout out to Compton. Let me throw a little cocoa butter on it. My brother feel a little ashy right now. My face is looking a little ashy. Just washed my face. Oh man, so we got a lot. Oh yeah, we still got a lot of cake left over. Y'all saw the Instagram of my wife being wayward. I just showed a video of my wife being non-Christian. This is a Christian household. This is a Christian, Muslim, and Buddhist household. We practice all religions. I mean, she's not abiding by any of them. She's being a little ratchet. My wife is being a hot girl right now. Yeah. She's been a hot girl. She's waiting for hot girl summer. It's not hot girl summer yet, Lexi. Man. All right, man. So much stuff is going on. No, I'm not from Philly. What makes you think I'm from Philly? I'm not from Philly, and I love Philly. Shout out to Philly. Shout out to Philly. Much love and respect to Philly. We got a lot going on. We're still having, ladies and gentlemen, and we still got Foundational Black American shirts. This is on hiddencolorsfilm.com. A lot of folks ask about the Foundational Black American shirts. Look, we still have the Black History Month sale going for Hidden Colors 1 through 5. You, ladies and gentlemen, can get the Hidden Colors 1 through 5 package, including the 1804 Hidden History of Haiti DVD. You can get all 6 DVDs for just $49.99. $49, ladies and gentlemen. This month only. So you got, 2 weeks left to take advantage of that sale. You got 2 weeks left, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we're sending them things out just left and right. We're sending them out left and right. So you get that, ladies and gentlemen, at hiddencolorsfilm.com. Y'all get it. Even if you have one, get the whole thing. That's a steal. because you can give it to somebody as a gift. You need to give it to some of your people, your friends, family. Give it to them as a gift. Get it, give it as a gift. You got it? Give that as a gift. We're selling so many of these things. We're getting them out very fast. The other day, I was on my way to the office. Usually, my employees are there before me. You know, I go in, I'm in and out. I'm really not at the office that much. The employees are there. You know, everything, people kind of run, you know, they handle their business at the office. Fatima kind of holds it down. She holds it down. So my employees were at the office, and I was on my way to the office, and they hit me up, and they needed more printing labels. Okay, so Office Depot is right down the street. So I went down to Office Depot. This was a couple of days ago to get more printing paper for the labels, because we ship out so many. So we go through hundreds of shipping labels. So we're always going back and forth to Office Depot, all the little printing stores and stuff like that. So I went to Office Depot, and I paying for my shipping labels, and there was a white dude behind the counter, and I had on my sweater. I had a Foundational Black American sweater. It looked just like this, but it was my sweater. And I'm kind of in a rush. And the white guy, because I guess it's Black History Month, he saw my shirt and he was like, "Hey, I can name all those people." Okay. Okay. Oh, God. You know, you just ain't in the mood. And I'm in a rush. And I'm already knowing he's not. Oh, God. I know. Okay. I already know he's not. He's not going to know who all the people are on this shirt, all right? There's some black folks who don't even know who everybody is on this shirt. All right? If you look at this shirt, there's some black people who don't even know. So I'm like, I'm in a rush. I said, okay, fuck it. Let me hear it. I'm like, if he gets at least 3 people right, if he gets 3 people right, I give him props. If he gets at least 3 people, hell, you know what? If he gets 2 right, I give him props. If he gets 2 right, I give him props. I said, all right. Well, I swear to God, he pointed here. Now, who is this? Who is this, ladies and gentlemen? Who is this? Now, these images are not like real abstract. I mean, they look like the people, all right? The images look like the people, all right? He pointed to this picture, said, "That's Rosa Parks." I said, I don't need no receipt. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Shit. This motherfucker said Harriet Tubman was Rosa Parks. I said, God damn it. Lord, I ain't got time. Just keep the fucking receipt, dude. God. Nigga. This don't look like no fucking Rosa Parks in any sense of the word. This don't... Harriet Tubman don't look shit like Rosa Parks. This motherfucker said he said he was dead ass serious. He was dead serious. He was dead ass serious, dude. I don't even want to, okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you very much, sir. Have a good day. I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing else. I'm done. Okay. Yeah, that was it for me. Whoo, hey. Now let me talk to the black folks. Do all you black people know who these people are, by the way? Because I'm not shocked. But Harriet Tubman, I mean, you couldn't get that one, no? Rosa fucking Parks, dude. No, he was dead ass serious. He was dead serious. Now, y'all should know everybody on this damn show. All right? Everybody should know who these people are. Who's this on the bottom? Who's this on the bottom? Because sometimes people might get, who's that on the bottom? Some people might get confused. Who's that on the bottom? All right? Y'all know them all. Y'all should know them all. Who is this? Wait, who's that? Who's that? That's John Henry Clark, exactly. And who's this? Every black person should know this, especially if you're a foundational black American. Who is this? That's right. Ida B. Wells. Ida B. Wells. Y'all should know who these people are. You should know who these people are. Ida B. Wells was a rider. Ida B. Wells was a badass sister. All of these people influenced me. These are all foundational black Americans. Ida B. Wells was such a rider. You know, Susan B. Anthony was trending the other day. And I'm glad people, because we've been calling out Susan B. Anthony's racism for years. White women love her, the white feminists love her, and every time they give her props, we remind people of how much of a goddamn anti-black racist Susan B. Anthony was. And Susan B. Anthony and the rest of those white feminists were hardcore anti-black racists. They were phony as hell. Don't let nobody run no game on you about Susan B. Anthony and how she was an abolitionist. That was a con, that was a hustle. That abolitionist hustle was something that they could do to make money for themselves. They didn't want equality. When it looked like black folks were going to get any kind of equality, then the real them came out. Oh, wait a minute now. Ooh, wait a minute. We ain't saying nothing about you niggas being equal. I mean, slavery is bad, but you niggas being equal? Oh, no, you still niggas now. Susan B. Anthony wasn't shit. Don't let anybody fool you. And then they'll try to associate her with Ida B. Wells and all these other white feminists. Ida B. Wells, let me tell you something. Ida B. Wells would check those white feminists. Don't let them muddy up Ida B. Wells' legacy. Ida B. Wells would put them white feminists in check. Ida B. Wells wasn't no damn joke, and Ida B. Wells wasn't no feminist. Don't let them tell you that. Ida B. Wells wasn't no damn feminist. She wasn't buying all that bullshit them white women were saying. They were like, Ida B. Wells was like, wait a minute, y'all talking all this women's rights and equals rights? Y'all bitches ain't saying nothing about all our men getting lynched out here, though. How come y'all ain't saying nothing about that? Ida B. Wells was a rider. Ida B. Wells, she called them white feminists out. She called them out. She called them out for their racism. She called them out for their hypocrisy. That's why they don't talk about the real Ida B. Wells. Let me tell y'all something about Ida B. Wells. Ida B. Wells was a pioneer as far as not boycotting, but standing up to Jim Crow policies as far as buses and trains. 100 years before, almost 100 years before Rosa Parks, and this doesn't take anything away from Rosa Parks, but there was a similar situation with Ida B. Wells on a train in, I think, around 1884. Now, they talk about Rosa Parks being defiant of the white supremacists trying to put her off the bus because Rosa Parks was nonviolent. That whole thing was nonviolent, so they don't have a problem promoting Rosa Parks because it was all nonviolent. I'm going to get arrested with dignity. Ida B. Wells was on a train in the 1800s. She paid extra money to ride first class. First class was in the back. The front of the train was close to the locomotive, so, you get that train smoke, and people were smoking cigars and drinking, and all the drunk white men were up there. So she's like, I'm a lady. I'm a lady, so I'm going to sit back with classy ladies. I don't want to sit up there with all that smoke. And the conductor came and tried to get her to move. They were like, well, you need to move. This is, the colored people sit in the front. Now, let's be clear. There wasn't a law at the time. In 1875, they passed a law against discrimination based on race. The Plessy versus Ferguson, I think that was the law. That came later. That came in the 1890s, where they had the separate but equal law. So around this time, they really didn't have a law that required black people to sit in certain sections. But they used the I'm white and I say so law. Okay? Just be clear about history. So they tried to get our sister Ida to move. I was like, I'm not moving. No, I'm a lady. I'm not sitting up there with all them drunk ass white men. I paid extra, and you can get the fuck out my face. So the white man grabbed her arm. Ida B. Wells bit that motherfucker. Ida B. Wells bit the shit out of him, and he backed up off of her. Then they had to get a couple of other white men to physically lift her off that train, and Ida B. Wells was fighting back. She tore her dress, tore her sleeve. Ida B. Wells damn near whooped everybody white ass on that train. And they ended up putting her off the train, and she sued. She actually won. Now, the Texas Supreme Court on some I'm white and I say so, they reversed it, but Ida B. Wells wasn't nonviolent. You understand? That sister was a rider. That's what they don't tell you about how much of a rider Ida B. Wells was. That was a fucking rider. She was all about, yeah, we need some violence against these people. She said, I latched on and I bit his damn hand to get up off me. That's that Ogun spirit. That sister rode for black men. Some of her black male friends got lynched down in Memphis. She started paying white dudes to pretend to be Klan members and getting the names of all the dudes in the Klan who was wearing them robes and hoodies. And then she started publishing their damn names in the newspaper. She was publishing their names publicly, putting their asses on Front Street. So they ended up running her out of Memphis. That's why she went up there. She was up there in Chicago. Ida was a rider, dude. Yeah, don't let them try to make it seem like she was down with them white feminists. She called them out. Not only did she call them out because of their racism, well, Susan B. Anthony and all of these white women feminists, what they were doing, they would get money from these British anti-lynching foundations in Britain. They would send money to some of these white feminists to fight against lynching and all this and anti-racism. A lot of them white feminists were getting their money from Britain. And what these white feminists were doing, they would get their money from the British. They're like, well, hell, they're overseas. They don't see what we're doing. And then those white feminists would go down south and click up with them old racist-ass white supremacist women and start helping them spread propaganda, the Lynch brothers and all this. And Ida said, oh, that's what y'all doing? Well, check this out. I'm going to Europe my damn self. So Ida went over there and went on a lecture tour telling on all their ass, showing the con game that they were doing. And some of those white feminists, their little funding started to dry up from the British. Oh, Ida went on a tour over there in Europe and started telling. Because the media over there, they'll print stuff. And they've always been like that. The media there are a little more honest than the media here. But this is how much of a rider she was. This is how much of a rider Ida B. Wells was. She's like, we're going to play that game. Let's play it. Let me let your benefactors know what the hell y'all doing. Yeah? Man. Oh, that sister was a soldier. They don't tell you how much of a rider she is. What they try to do, they'll try to, because they know she was a prominent person within black society, so they'll keep quiet about the truth of this sister and then try to fake latcher on to these damn racist ass white feminists. And we can't let them do that. This is why we have to control our history. We have to control the narrative of history. We have to control the narrative of history. You understand? This is why they're going so hard now with this LGBT history. And we got to take control of that narrative. We're going to have to take control of that narrative, family. And not only that, we got to take control over the narrative of them trying to make black men the face of sexual assault. This is why First Them is very important. This is why First Them is very important. Speaking of Me Too, before I get into some stuff about Me Too, hold on one second. Speaking of Me Too, let me speaking of that, hold on one second. Speaking of Me Too, Tarana Burke, the puppet mascot of Me Too, this is Tarana Burke. Tarana Burke has gotten engaged. She was on Instagram showing off her boo, who looks like he just got out of prison. And this kiss looks very uncomfortable. It looks very weird and strange. This is Tarana Burke. I know it's tax season. I know this brother's money is probably funny. I don't know what the deal is. Looks like he just got out. The brother might be trying to get a green card. He looks a little dusty. This just looks very unnatural. But Tarana damn Burke has gotten engaged to some dusty Negro. Yes, I'm calling a nigga dusty. He looks dusty and crunchy than a motherfucker. He clearly needs a green card. This nigga's clearly from the Bahamas somewhere. This nigga's from some remote island where he needs to get over here. This nigga's from New Guinea or some shit. He's from a remote fucking island. She's found her nigga from New Guinea who's trying to get a bag. Shout out to the New Guinea brother. He's from somewhere far away. He can't be from here. Yeah, I'm not. Don't you put that nigga on Foundational Black Americans. He ain't one of us. All right. It don't get that bad for us out here. Fuck that. This nigga's from somewhere far fucking way. This nigga's from Easter fucking Island. She got a nigga from Easter Island who's trying to get a bag. So pray for that brother. Pray for that brother, and I hope the bag is worth it, nigga. The shit motherfuckers got to do. That's 90 Day Fiance for your ass right there. But anyway, and I don't believe that nigga's from here. I don't believe that nigga's from here. If he's from here, that means he just got out of jail. Everybody who sees that, they know something just ain't on the up and up with that. Something ain't on the up and up with that. All right. But, like I said, speaking of Me Too and all that garbage, we got to take control of the narrative. Because as you guys have probably heard, some woman has come out and said that Rick James raped her at a group home in 1979. Some woman then came out and said, dead singer, Rick James has been dead for what, a decade? How long has Rick James been dead? This woman has said that Rick James raped her at a group home back in 1979. Now, family, this is a result of them using Bill Cosby moving the statutes of limitations back. Yes, he's 15 years, since 2004, way over a decade. But this is a result, and I knew this was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen with Bill Cosby. When they said they were going to move the statutes of limitations back to make it longer, to a longer net to for people to bring rape claims. I said, oh, that's going to be for black people. When they did that with Bill Cosby, I knew that was going to be for black people. That's going to be for black people. Because if you're going to do that, we need to go to the 60s and the 50s where all these black women were getting raped by these white dudes. If we're going to play that game. So I knew they weren't going to go there. I knew they weren't going to go there. So I knew they were going to make it racial. So now Rick James, who's been dead, this is the money finesse, by the way. This is a way for them, when a black celebrity dies, they can now sue the estate. See, with the Michael Jackson estate. So now they can create a fake rape claim. And this is going to be used on black celebrities, especially when they die. This is why I notice with Kobe, they keep bringing up that damn rape thing that he was cleared on. That's why they keep bringing up rape and Kobe. So they're letting folks know, if you got a claim, we can go after his estate. These white supremacists are dog whistling to each other. They're dog whistling to each other. Now, we've already said that he raped one white woman. If any more y'all out there says that he raped you, we got this estate over here that's loaded with cash. You understand? You better understand how these white supremacists think. That's how they think, dude. Y'all don't know how diabolical these people are. And this is why Gayle King ain't shit. Oprah ain't shit. All the people coast. Al Sharpton, you ain't shit either. Looking like a dusty fucking pelican sitting on MSNBC, letting them spew that garbage. All y'all boule niggas, all of y'all Democratic shill niggas, y'all ain't shit for letting that go down. But that's one of the reasons why they moved those statutes of limitations. Charles Barkley, we know he ain't shit. He ain't never been shit, so that's nothing new. Charles, he was trying to get him some butter biscuits. So understand what these white supremacists are doing. Understand their con. Understand their hustle. Understand their con. So when black celebrities die and they don't have lawyers to dig up and, get private investigators to show that, these people are lying and they're full of shit. When a celebrity is dead, you can make a fake claim on them and then try to get a payout from their estate. You think? That's going to be the new scam now. That's what they're going to do to Bill Cosby. See, they're just waiting on Bill Cosby to die. This is why they threw all this shit at him right before he died. Because, he got up there in age and they waited for this. They waited for him to get a certain age. They destroyed his legacy, got him in jail. So now when he dies, they're going to be like buzzards on his damn estate. They're going to be flocking to his estate. They cannot wait until Bill Cosby dies. There's going to be more white women coming out. Yeah? Same thing. They're going to do the same thing with Tiger Woods. When he goes, they're going to be running after his estate. All these old white women going to be coming out saying he did something to him in the early 2000s. Yeah? That's how they do. The white supremacists, boy, they believe in white supremacy all the way through, even when you're dead. Even when you're dead. And they all get on cold with each other. They all stay on cold with each other. And we got to understand that. We got to understand that part of the game. And we got to understand how, they're really trying to parade us around with the white LGBT community. They're really trying to exploit what's that brother's name who was on the TV show Atlanta? They got him playing some gay superhero. What's that superhero's name? What's the brother's name from the show Atlanta? They're going to have him playing a gay superhero. They said it's going to be the first openly gay superhero. What's the superhero's name is what's it starts, because I'm not into comic books like that. Brian Tyree Henry. The guy who plays Paperboy. The superhero's name starts with a P. What's the superhero's name? Someone said Bussy Man. No. Batty Girl. No. What's the superhero's name? It's from the Eternals. Plastos, Phastos, or something. What is it? Phastos. From what I understand, in the comic book, the Phastos character ain't even gay. Where are my comic book dudes? It's not even a real superhero. Wait, I think it is it's a comic character in a real comic strip. But yeah, from what I've understood about this character, because I'm like, okay, is it a black gay comic book character? I mean, what is it? Phastos? But from what he's in the comic, he's not even gay. So I'm like, they just gonna make him black and gay just because? So yeah, in the comic books, he's actually married to a woman, but when they make him black, oh, we can't have that. We're gonna have to bussify you a little bit. Family. This is buck breaking. This is buck breaking. The buck breaking is real. The buck breaking agenda is heavy. They're trying to show you, if you want to be a black man, you want to be a black male, you want to get in, you want us to accept you, you can't be a man, you gotta be a woman. You can be a boy or you can be a woman, as Neely Fuller says. They're getting bold with the buck breaking agenda at this point. They're getting bold with it. And in the media now, with children, they're really targeting children. This is why they're coming at our children real hard with this LGBT history thing. Because what they want to do, because when you start asking people, what the hell is LGBT history? They get to hemming and hawing and stalling, and they can't really give straight answers onto what the hell is LGBT history. They start getting defensive when you ask them, what exactly are you going to teach 7 and 8 year olds? What are you going to teach them? What are you going to teach little children? What are you going to teach a 7 or 8 year old about a transsexual or a bisexual? Because when you talk about LGBT, you're going to have to explain what those letters mean. And then when you get to the bisexual, what are you going to tell them? Yeah? And the people who try to explain it, because they know it's some bullshit, when they try to explain it, then it starts getting off into the realm of pedophilia. Because that's where this shit is going, family. This shit is going down the pedophilia lane. They're trying to normalize pedophilia. And they're trying to break us so that we'll accept that. They're trying to break black Americans, because that's one thing that we do not accept at all. So they're trying to break us so that we'll accept that stuff. You dig? Now, I put this on my Twitter earlier today. Hold on, come on, thing. Don't act funny. Okay. Hold on 1 second. My thing wants to act funny. Okay, there we go. Hold on. Okay, I put this up. You know how black children, especially black boys all around the country, you see stories every other week of a black boy wearing his locks or wearing a natural hairstyle. Even black girls in many cases. But you see black children, especially black boys, when they wear their hair in locks, they get suspended. They're told they won't be allowed to graduate. They do all this stuff when it comes to black boys wearing their natural hair in locks. But the thing is, if a black boy puts on a damn Nicki Minaj wig, they get federal protection. If that same kid puts on a tacky ass wig and walks around with it, the schools are notified that, hey, he's protected. If he wants to put a funky wig on and call himself a transgender, you better not put him out of school. And this is on the transgender equality sites. They're saying there's, under many federal and state laws, the Title 11 or Title 9 or whatever that is, the federal law bans sex discrimination from schools. You understand? So what's the message they're showing you here? What's the message here? See, I want y'all to be real clear about the message that's being shown here. If you are a masculine black child who wears his hair in a natural style, well, we can kick you out because of the I'm white and I say so rule. But if you are a feminine child and you want to identify as a girl or woman and you want to put a wig on, well, we got you. You're good. You're a hero. You see, this is I'm white and I say so. This is I'm white and I say so. It has nothing to do with the hairstyles. Just understand, when they start doing all this hair discrimination, it has nothing to do with the hairstyles. It never has anything to do with the hairstyles. And let me tell you something. And I talked about this earlier on my Instagram Live. Locked hair in black people has always been seen as a sign of rebellion to the white supremacists. I want y'all to understand that. A dread brother told me this, a dreadlock. I don't like using the word dreads. I just use it for the sake of conversation so y'all can understand. A brother who had the locks years ago broke that down to me. He was saying how, because he had long locks, but he would have his hair wrapped up when he went to work. He would have to wrap his hair up and kind of put a thing over it. He was like, yeah, because, my locked hair, that's a threat to these people. Those locks, to the white supremacists, locked hair is a threat. You understand? On a subconscious level. You know why? Because in the Caribbean, and even here, with some maroon populations, when a white supremacist ran into a brother with them locks, usually that was the last thing they saw before the white supremacists got their damn throat slit. You understand? Because during slavery, the ones with the locks, those were the ones who were the maroons. They were living up in the mountains, especially in the Caribbeans. The enslaved black people who lived on the plantations, they were groomed to a certain, especially the house ones. You had to be groomed to a certain degree. So whenever you saw the brothers with the locks, it was the ones working in the field or the maroons. And so if you go to Jamaica now and go up in them hills, you still see brothers with them goddamn locks going all the way down to their feet. They still live up in those damn hills. In Haiti, when the revolution was going on, the brothers with them locks, that's where the word dread came from. People said that the word dread came from them saying that it looked dreadful. No, they dreaded to see them brothers. It was dreadful for them brothers to run up on your ass with them locks. That's what they dreaded. They dreaded to see them. When they saw them brothers with them locks, that means you about to get your ass toe up. That's what I dread. Oh, these niggas are dreadful. Yeah? That was what they dreaded. So that's where the dreadlocks came from. The dreadlocks. Dreadful locks. Them dreadful niggas. Them dreadful maroons. Those dreadful soldiers. Yeah? And even on a subconscious level now, that scares the white supremacists. That scares them. That natural hair. That's a sign of rebelliousness. So it's never about just the hair. It's about the spirit of the person. It's about the spirit of the person. Yeah. So we got to understand history as far as that. But they're trying to talk about, and I told people this was going to happen. In February, I told folks they were going to start latching on their history with our history. They're going to start finding random black people who happen to be gay and claiming whatever they did was for the benefit of LGBT history, and it wasn't. And, you know, they've been talking a lot about some of the guys from the Harlem Renaissance, Langston Hughes, who was gay. There was a lot of people who were part of the Harlem Renaissance who was gay. They were talking about Baynard Rustin and all that. He was a gay dude, but this dude, you know, he was fighting with the civil rights movement for black people at the time, even though he was working with the CIA. So this lie that certain black people who happen to be gay were some kind of pioneers for the LGBT community, that's just a way for the white LGBT community. Yeah, they talked about James Baldwin, who was against white supremacy. He wasn't advocating for gay rights. He was advocating for black people. So the white LGBT community, they are practicing their racism by, again, trying to co-opt the black struggle for their benefit. This is what they do with that whole Stonewall thing. I've broken that Stonewall thing down before. D. Wade. A lot of folks want me to speak on D. Wade. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. That's self-explanatory. You know, they're parading D. Wade's son out. Now the son is calling himself Zaya or something. And he's identifying as a girl. See, this is again, they're tiptoeing around pedophilia with this stuff. Look at the words they're using. See, the white supremacists are very manipulative with the words. They're calling D. Wade's son trans now. Notice they're not using the word gay. See? Watch the words. Neely Fuller says the white supremacists are manipulative with words. Watch these words. They're deliberately using the word trans for his son. And they don't use sexual no more. They don't like using transsexual no more because you know what it is what it is. So they just say transgender now. See, they sit up in these think tanks and come up with these little words because they know transsexual implies sex, which is what it is. But if you say gender, well, it's just not sex. So they're the master of wordplay. So they said it's better to call this 12-year-old child trans instead of gay, because if you say he's gay, that implies sexuality. You got to have sex with somebody in order to be gay. Who is a child having sex with? You have to have sex with somebody to be gay. So they know this instinctively. So calling a child gay who's not even supposed to be sexual, we can't do that. So let's just throw trans as a word. Well, he's transgender. Now what's transgender? Well, he identifies as a woman. So now if this little boy, somebody tries to molest him, another man, well, he says, well, shit, I am a girl, I identify as a girl, so this ain't so bad. Yeah, and see, look at the words they use. Look at the words they use. These are deceptive, manipulative words. So yeah, whatever you so-called identify as. So if anybody can identify with being a woman, then what's a woman? What makes a woman a woman? You see, they're still trying to figure out the bullshit, because all of this is bullshit, by the way. This is all a crock of bullshit, but they're still trying to figure out how to justify. Right now, They're just relying on I'm white and I say so. And you can't just keep running on I'm white and I say so because it looks like domination. Domination, when you're using these type of dominating terms with children, now we're getting into pedophilia. Just go along with what I'm saying. But this don't sound right. This it sounds right because I make it sound right. You see, they haven't even worked out all the bullshit yet. Yeah? Yeah, real talk. So now somebody made a good point. So now this Dwayne Wade's son, Zaya, which is what Zaya, that's the name the little boy has for himself now. So they say he identifies as a girl now. So he's 12. So if he gets older and says, hey, I like women. So now is he a lesbian? Sexual confusion. It's sexual confusion. And they're using black children for this. It's word game. Now just imagine these types of confusing word games on small children. See, if they get us the adults to go along with it, and this is why they keep punishing black people if you say something about it. Wendy Williams, they made her apologize recently. So you say something about anybody LGBT and some of the fuckery that they do and some of the lies and the manipulation and the racism, if you speak out against that, they'll make you bow down. You understand? So they're trying to get black folks to go along with it so that we won't say nothing when they try to do it with the children, all that gender fluidity nonsense. See, that trans stuff is going to get into transhumanism. Transhumanism is an offshoot of eugenics. Understand, once we get the trans word out there, transhumanism and trans this, trans that, that's an offset, and that's a subcategory of eugenics. You understand? This is why the media is very, very powerful. We got to learn how to not fall for these games. And even Martha P. Johnson. Martha P. Johnson did not identify as trans. They keep saying that Martha P. Johnson from the Stonewall Rebellion was trans. Martha P. Johnson was not trans. His name was Malcolm Michaels. That was his name. He identified as a man. He even said when he was alive, he was like, no, I'm not no tranny or nothing. I'm not a transvestite or nothing. I'm a man. I'm a drag queen. You know, I live as a man and I put on women's clothes sometimes. Some days I just live as a man. So the white LGBT community, they try to say, well, he was mentally ill, so he didn't know any better. So the fact that Martha P. Johnson identified as a man, but he just dressed in drag when he wanted to, well, they said he didn't, he's mentally ill, so he didn't know. So we're going to call him or her. Yeah? So we got to watch the game that they're playing out here. The transhuman, transracial, all that stuff ties in. It's all a part of the eugenics movement. And the white LGBT community, they've always had to latch on to us. They started trying to do this, well, they started to do it with Stonewall. That's when they really realized they could finesse. Right after Stonewall happened, the white LGBT community then jumped on that to try to finesse it for themselves because they saw the white feminists jumping on the civil rights movement, finessing that for themselves. All right? Throughout the 70s, they were trying to latch on to the disco movement. Remember, the disco movement was a bunch of white gay people latching on to black folks, latching on to our dancing and our music and all that stuff, and co-opting it. By the way, everybody hit the thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button. Everybody hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. Let me tell y'all something. So in the 70s, they were trying to get this movement going then, latch on to black people. They were trying to latch on to prominent black people. See, you know what they do now? They buck-broken niggas in Hollywood now. They buck broken niggas. Hollywood has to go along with the bullshit. All the black people now, you know, they make these niggas show up at the pride parades and all this old shit. So you can't even get things popping in Hollywood unless you're playing a gay character, unless you go out here and stump for the white LGBT community. They buck broken niggas big time. In the 70s, not so much. In the 70s, in 1977 to be exact, one of these early white LGBT organizations, and a lot of these organizations, well, hold on one second, hold on, what is this? What is this? Hold on. Yeah, you got some white supremacist trolls in here putting up some kind of swastika shit. Get them out of here. But listen. They were trying to do the same thing in the 70s. They were trying to do it covertly. And remember, in 79, I want to say 79, 80, white America rebelled against the whole disco craze because they were rebelling against the white LGBT community. The white straight community rebelled against the white LGBT community by lashing out at disco. That was the whole thing where they were upset with the white LGBT community for trying to co-opt certain things and Trojan horse themselves into straight white society. White folks didn't like that. All right. But in the 70s, you know, they had Flip Wilson dressing like a woman. And they would try to get big black celebrities to try to kind of manipulate them into being the face for some of their white organizations. Yeah, the white community is very homophobic, by the way. The straight white community, they're very homophobic. They try to project that shit on black people. Them. They're the ones creating the laws and all that old shit. But what they would do, they would have little organizations like the blah, blah, human rights, the rights of the people. They would have all these little vague organizations that were really white LGBT organizations. And they would try to, you know, they'll get a black person, you know, to come to one of their events and then say, hey, look, this black person who has struggled, he's co-signing us too. And we're all LGBT. So they would try to do that thing. They would try to do that in the 70s. Got it? They're showing you how the con game would go. And they tried to do that with Richard Pryor. They had an event at Hollywood Bowl in 1977. And Richard Pryor was one of the guests there, one of the entertainment. They had him there. They also had a group called The Lockers, a dance group. That was Don Campbell Locke from Watts. I think Rerun, who was on the show What's Happening, he was in the group. So they had The Lockers. The Lockers was a black dance group. Now, Richard Pryor has been molested as a child, you know, because he grew up in a hoe house. So, you know, he's been molested and all this stuff. So he grew up seeing white tricks running in and out of his grandmother's hoe house. So he knew how manipulative the white supremacists were. So in 1977 at the Hollywood Bowl, Richard Pryor was performing. Richard Pryor saw, you know, the audience was basically primarily white and it was gay. He didn't know that at first. He didn't know that. It was like supposed to be some kind of human rights thing they brought him to. But when he looked at the audience and saw that everybody was gay and everybody was white, he was like, oh, well, what's this? What the hell is this? And then he saw that the Lockers were being mistreated by the people putting on the event. He saw backstage how they were just kind of shitting on him a little bit. So Richard Pryor got on stage and cursed all their asses out. Richard Pryor got on stage and he talked about his experience, you know, being molested and, you know, his, you know, sexual confusion or whatever. But then he was like, all you white gay people, ain't no niggas here. I mean, you know, y'all trying to, you know, y'all got me out here for this bullshit. Where were y'all when the Watts riots? Because remember, the Watts riot was just a decade before, so he cursed their asses out. It was like some bait and switch. He was like, hey, what is this bullshit? He's like, man, y'all don't give a fuck about black people? He said, y'all can kiss my rich black ass. Richard Pryor cursed them out. That was an infamous thing. And I don't think there was probably video and audio of it, but they got rid of it. There was probably video and audio of it, but they got rid of it. So he wasn't with the bullshit. Richard wasn't with the bullshit. And he called them out, even though he himself had gay experiences, bisexual experiences. I mean, he laid up with a tranny, and he talked about it in his book. He talked about being with a transsexual in his book. From the transsexual was actually in the Dolomite movie. Sir Lady Reed. No, what is it? The Sir Lady Java. Sir Lady Java. That was who the tranny was. Lady Java. Lady Java was a famous transsexual out here in LA. He looked just like a woman. He was a dude from Louisiana. Sir Lady Java. He was in the Dolomite movie, and Dolomite was gay, by the way. So Sir Lady Java was with a lot of cats out there in Hollywood. So that just shows you that the white LGBT community was getting called out by black celebrities, in the 70s. Yeah, he didn't like that. He didn't like that he was being manipulated by the white LGBT community. And he saw how racist they were towards the lockers. He was like, this is bullshit. Y'all ain't about no human rights. Y'all trying to manipulate. So I'm not with that. Yeah, I'm not with that. Yeah? And like Neely Fuller said, the white supremacists, they've always done like sexual experiments coming out of California. There's always been, California has always been a testing ground for a lot of stuff, especially up there in Northern California. Neely Fuller was just breaking this down. They test out a lot of things out here in Los Angeles and in the Bay Area. A lot of things, a lot of sexual things, a lot of drugs. Yeah, he called California an incubator. A lot of stuff is tested. A lot of shit comes out of that Bay Area. The white supremacists, that's why up there in Northern California, Silicon Valley is up there. Remember, Silicon Valley, that started off as a military location. Silicon Valley, that started off as a military location, and Silicon Valley, as we know it, started by white eugenicists. The white men who started Silicon Valley were white supremacist eugenicists. And also, a lot of stuff gets started there, and then scientifically and militarily, it gets started there, and then culturally, it's brought down here to LA. They'll cultivate it from a cultural standpoint. You feel what I'm saying? So scientifically and militarily, it'll start up there in the Bay, and then down here in Hollywood and LA, because the white supremacists, they run the culture. This is the cultural headquarters. A lot of stuff that goes out in the media starts here. So they bring it down here. A lot of sexual experiments went on up in the Bay Area. You understand? A lot of sexual experiments. The whole hippie thing, the hippie movement started really in the Laurel Canyon area, then it went up to the Bay Area. But, all those LSD drugs, all those designer drugs would start off up there in the Bay Area. Hell, crack started in the Bay. Crack cocaine started in Oakland. We talked about that in Hidden Colors 5. You watch Hidden Colors 5. We break down where crack came from. It was a scientist up there in Oakland, and they even put out a book in 1976 called The Pleasures of Cocaine. That's the first publication that showed the formula on cooking crack cocaine, on rocking up cocaine. That book actually has the baking soda formula. That book has the baking soda formula. Yeah? Somebody cook crack was started in UCLA. Some people say that. We talked about that in Hidden Colors too. We talked about the experiments done at UCLA on monkeys that were cooking crack. We talked about that. But documents show it was already, they had it on the streets up there in the Bay Area in the mid-70s. It wasn't on the streets of LA yet. It wasn't on the streets of LA. It was up there in the Bay. A drug dealer named Tootie Reese was allegedly one of the first people to bring it down here, put it on the streets, and then later on, Rick got a hold of that formula, and then it spread, and the rest is history. But a lot of stuff starts up in that Bay Area. A lot of those experiments. Going back to the 1950s, you know, there was an experiment up there called Operation Sea Spray up in San Francisco, where the government, and y'all Google this, Operation Sea Spray, where the government around, I want to say early 1950s, I don't know the exact year, they sprayed some shit up there in the air in San Francisco, and people start getting sick, people start getting urinary tract infections, and people start getting, a couple people died. So they were testing out bioweapons. They were testing out what would happen if bioweapons were released in a large city like San Francisco. And what would the reaction be? How quickly would people get sick? How quickly would people die? The Operation Sea Spray. This is real shit. I mean, this ain't no tinfoil kufi. This is what they admitted to doing. This is what they've admitted to doing. Human growth hormone was developed in the Bay. And the reason why, you got to understand, California, they've always done little experiments with California scientifically and militarily, because the way California is, it's open for, it's more susceptible for a foreign attack by sea. California is very susceptible to an attack by sea because or by land too, because with California, you got Mexico that's on the bottom, and then you got the Pacific Ocean, and there are no, island nations that's really close by. So the ocean is wide open like that. So it's, you're susceptible for an attack coming from Russia, coming from China, coming from one of those nations, Japan, coming from a hostile nation. So we got to understand military science. Remember, what part of California? California was hit by a Japanese submarine. Was that 1943? One of those years where California, a submarine from Japan actually got to the coast of California and started busting. Yeah, that's why Hawaii is there. Exactly. That's why Hawaii was so important for a strategic location. And then they got Fiji. Guam. I'm sorry, Guam. The U.S. owns Guam too. So look, we got to understand military science. Was it 1943? Because we know they bombed Pearl Harbor, but a submarine got close to, where was that? Where the hell? They start shooting at like an oil refinery place. The submarine started to shoot at an oil refinery. Was that in the Bay too? I want to say that was up in the Bay Area too. No, we ain't talking about Pearl Harbor, brother. I know Pearl Harbor was in Hawaii. That's one thing. They hit Pearl Harbor by air. California, was it in California? They hit California with a submarine. A submarine came through and started busting. I want to say that was in Santa Barbara. I want to say that was in Santa Barbara. The Elwood in Santa Barbara, right. The bombardment of Elwood. There you go. There you go. I knew it was somewhere. It was in Santa Barbara. I knew it wasn't in LA. I knew it wasn't quite in Oakland or San Francisco. Right. And then the next day, they had that Battle of LA where they started shooting up in the air. They thought it was some damn unidentified. They thought it was the Japanese. A lot of people thought the Battle of LA was about aliens. They thought that Battle of LA was about the Japanese. No, they tried in the media. They tried to say it was aliens. No, they were afraid that the Japanese were coming to bomb LA, so they were shook. They sent thousands of explosive balloons, to the West Coast. Yeah, so the West Coast has always been somewhat vulnerable militarily, so they're always doing experiments out here. They're always doing experiments out here. You understand? On the West Coast. They're always testing things. This is why Silicon Valley is up there. That's a military location, strategic military spot. It's always been an incubator, as our brother Neely Fuller said. In Russia, Japan, yeah, they can come touch you. So we got to understand that a lot of stuff that comes on, that happens out here, a lot of testing, and we're the guinea pigs. A lot of things are tested out here. And again, different sexual practices, again, different designer drugs come out of here. Yeah. And then you got Hollywood that will make things culturally acceptable. You dig? Just like with cocaine and all that stuff and freebase. Remember, Hollywood made that. They made that a culturally acceptable thing. It was cool. It was fly. They made it a culturally acceptable thing. Yeah? The radiation in the Pacific Ocean causing. Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, a lot of laws are tested out here. Yeah, and they got a lot of internment camps out here too. They got a lot of internment camps out here. But we just got to understand how deep it is with the white supremacists. They're constantly waging warfare on us. Warfare is constantly waged. Now, if they do some shit like that, will release gases in a major city where white people are. Just imagine what they do to us. Yeah? And just imagine the agenda they have for our children. When these white supremacists are running out here trying to prioritize our children to be sexualized, we better understand the con game it is. We better understand the con game this thing is, and we better understand what it is. Hold on one second. We need to understand the con game for what it is. And we got to take control of the narrative when it comes to our history. On my Twitter page, I've been showing people and teaching people the real deal about history. The real history about the white LGBT community. Because, again, when they teach and start talking about LGBT history, they keep trying to latch on to black people. They keep trying to find a gay black person who grew up in Jim Crow, latch on to his struggle, and then say that's LGBT history so that the white people can benefit from it. You understand? But no, we need to take control of that narrative and let's teach all the history. We need to teach all the history, ladies and gentlemen. And part of that history, and let me show you what we need to teach. Let me show you some of the things we need to teach out here. Hold on one second. My thing is freezing a little bit, but it's okay. Hold on. Y'all bear with me for a second. Let me take some of these screens down for a minute. Hold on one second. Let me take some of these down. All right. Let me take some of these down. Y'all bear with me. My screens are freezing like crazy, but it's okay. Let me look at the chat room on my phone here. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Whoops. Let me change computers real quick while I do this. All right. So, God, got a spinning ball thing going on here. Hold on one second. Y'all bear with me for a second. I don't know why I got the spinning ball thing going on. I got a spinning ball thing and I wanted to teach some lessons here. Hold on one second. Y'all bear with me 1 second. And by the way, y'all go to hiddenoColorsFilm.com. Ladies and gentlemen, go to hiddenoColorsFilm.com and get the Hidden Colors Black History Month DVD special. Get the DVD sale. You get 6 DVDs for just $49 for this month only. Okay, I got a spinning ball here, and I don't know how to get rid of this spinning ball here. Y'all bear with me. Trying to see how I can get rid of this spinning ball. It will not go away. God damn it. I'm trying to get rid of this spinning ball. And by the way, y'all follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My Instagram is at Tariq Elite. That's my Instagram. I'm trying to get rid of this spinning. 1 second. All right. All right. All right. Okay, I'm for some reason this damn spinning ball thing, and it will not go away. Let me try something. Okay, there it is. There it is. There it is. All right, stop spinning. All right, so now I can get down with it. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about white LGBT history. All right? This is This is Walt Whitman. And this is why y'all need to learn history, and this is why y'all need to teach this type of history. Since they want to talk about LGBT history, let's talk about it. The man with the beard is Walt Whitman, and he's gushing into this other man's eyes because Walt Whitman was an early white gay man. The white community, you know, they like to covertly acknowledge him. He's a very famous writer, poet. Walt Whitman, there's a bridge named after him. Where's that bridge? In Philly? The Walt Whitman Bridge. Where's the Walt Whitman Bridge? Walt Whitman, you know, he had a lot of homoerotic writings, you know, because they had sodomy laws at the time, so a lot of white men, they had to be on the low with their sexuality, but a lot of them would write about their boo things. Yeah? Well, Walt Whitman was also a hardcore anti-black racist. Walt Whitman, boy, this guy, he was a big-time supporter of slavery. His friend said he had no black friends. He had a poor opinion of the Negro race. Oh my God, he couldn't stand black people. He said black people were baboons. This is your white LGBT community, guys. That's Walt Whitman. Now y'all see why they don't like to talk about the white LGBT people too much. This is why they don't like talking about them that much. Oh, we can just break them all down. Let's break it down. Let's break it all down. Oh, my goodness. we're going to tell some real LGBT, some white LGBT history today. Let's go to Lord Cornbury. Ladies and gentlemen, this sweet thing right here, that's Lord Cornbury. All right, now this was the governor of the province of New York and New Jersey in the early colonies. Now, Lord Cornbury was a cross-dresser, okay? He was a cross-dresser, a trans as they call them now, and he was one of the people who created some of the laws to help expand slavery. Somebody said Lord Cornbussy. Yes, indeed. But his name was the Earl of Clarendon. The Earl of Clarendon, also known as Lord Cornbury or Cornbussy. He helped create the laws to expand slavery. He wanted them to bring over more black people to enslave. You can thank this trans guy right here, Lord Cornbussy. In fact, there's a slave plantation in North Carolina named in his honor. All right? Oh, we're going to do some real LGBT history today because, representation matters, right? Let's not just focus on some black people who just happen to be gay. No, let's talk about the white people and their history here. Oh, let's go up to this guy right here, this piece of work right here. This guy right here. That's Mr. James Henry Hammond. James Henry Hammond was a very prominent slave owner in the South. He came up with the term cotton is king. He came up with the term cotton is king, ladies and gentlemen. That infamous term about cotton is king, because black people were making so much money picking cotton. James Henry Hammond was also bisexual. There's letters between him and another man. This dude was a brutal pedophile. Not only he molested his own nieces, he wrote a diary documenting how he would brutally rape his female slaves. He had over 300 slaves. So this was a gay white man who was bisexual. He just, it's brutal, the rape of the female slaves. And we know that he was messing with the black male slaves too. He had a 12-year-old black female slave that he got pregnant. She had a bunch of kids by him. It was horrible. This guy and he documented all this stuff on his own. He was a real sick dude. He was the real sick guy. So this is the LGBT community. They're oppressed like black folks. No, you're not. No, you're not. You were doing the oppressing if you look at their history. Oh, here we go. Let's go to Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde. That's Oscar Wilde up there on your left. That's Oscar Wilde, and he got him some boy bussy next to him. Oscar Wilde was a very famous playwright and poet back in the 1800s. Oscar Wilde was a queen. He also had racist leanings and cozied up to white supremacists. Oh, he was a big-time anti-black racist. His family were slave owners. This guy actually went to prison for sodomy because he was out there campaigning for Bussy real heavy and breaking them sodomy laws. So he actually went to prison for sodomy. You did? And he was a hardcore anti-black racist. So this is their history. Representation matters. If we're going to teach history, let's teach all of it. Let's teach all the history. Let's go to this guy here. This is Judge Jeff Withers. Let's go to Jeff Withers. Jeff Withers is a piece of work. This is another gay slave owner. He was a slave owner, another gay slave owner. He was writing letters to the other guy. They had a little bussy activity going on. I mean, y'all Google everything I'm saying, by the way. All this shit I'm saying, Google it. Google all these names. Google Judge Jeff Withers. This guy, ladies and gentlemen, he was a slave owner. He actually drew up the documents and all that for the government, for the Confederacy. So he was a white supremacist Confederate. So, he had correspondence with the other guy I put up there, James Hammond. So they were writing letters, with Bussy speak. So, so many white LGBT slave owners out there. I mean, this guy, he helped create the Confederate government. So how in the hell are we in the same boat with these folks? These white LGBT people who sat here and enslaved us. How are we in the same boat? How are we the same? That's very insulting to even imply that we're the same. And they were the same part. They were part of the same oppressor class. They were the same part of the oppressor class as the rest of the white supremacists. You dig? Google all this. See, white zaddy, they ain't gonna tell you all this stuff. Now, let's get into some of these guys here. Let's get into this guy. Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn was actually, let me put a big picture of him. Roy Cohn was a big piece of work right here, with a little weird looking self. He actually represented Trump in Trump's early days when Trump had those discriminatory practices against black people. This was his lawyer, Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn was a gay white man who was he was the lead counsel in the McCarthy trials. You remember the McCarthy witch hunt back in the 50s, where they would demonize certain people for being communists, where they blacklisted people like Paul Robeson, the black actor. He was part of that. Roy Cohn was a part of that. Well, they demonized that brother. He got him blacklisted. Roy Cohn also sued Dr. Martin Luther King in 1965 for libel. They were filing these frivolous lawsuits on civil rights activists. Roy Cohn, let me show you his face. Roy Cohn, that's his face. He actually was the one who filed the suit on Dr. Martin Luther King in 1965. This was a real piece of work. Roy Cohn ended up dying of AIDS in 1986. He died of AIDS in 1986, and this dude tried to lie. Ed Koch, wasn't he fond of the bussy too? But let me get back on Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn tried to lie about his AIDS. He tried to lie until his dying day. And in the 80s, a lot of these white people were getting outed for dying of AIDS because they would try to lie. This was before they all got on code and started covering up for each other. He tried to lie and say that he had liver cancer. He tried to hold on to that lie, but when he died, it came on out that he had AIDS. So in the 80s, they were dying of AIDS left and right and then trying to lie. And also this Cohn guy, he was a lawyer for Studio 54. So this dude tried to lie about having AIDS, but he was a real piece of work. And this is the irony. The white gay community, the white LGBT community, like this guy, Roy Cohn, these folks were not only demonizing black people, subjugating black people. This guy filed a suit against Dr. King. The white gay community had people filing lawsuits against Dr. King, trying to demonize our brother Dr. King. Now that Dr. King got the civil rights laws passed, some of the same white LGBT people in the white LGBT community are using the laws that Dr. King fought and sacrificed his life for. They're trying to manipulate those laws for themselves. So they demonize and try to punish the civil rights leaders. And once the civil rights leaders get laws passed, the same white LGBT community run around and say, okay, I'm a victim too. Let me benefit from the law that you needed because of me. We needed civil rights laws because of white supremacist LGBT people. Don't ever sit up and let these folks say that we're in the same boat. Don't ever let them sit up and say we're in the same boat. We ain't. And black folks sitting around going along with that shit, that's horrible. That is horrible. But this just shows the manipulation that they have and the manipulation that they engage in. Folks, we got to get off that kumbaya thing. Black people, let's get off this thing. There is no intersectionality. There is no coalition. And let's go back to Ida B. Wells for a second. See, this is why the white supremacists, especially the white supremacist feminist women, when they needed some black faces to help Trojan horse their bullshit in, they don't want to use foundational black American women because they know that they don't want to get another Ida B. Wells, another black woman from here, foundational black American, who will put them on Front Street. So this is why the white LGBT groups and the white feminist groups, this is why they go get black people from the Caribbean and Africa to co-sign their bullshit. Tarana Burke, who's Caribbean, Jamela LaPuke, whose dad is white, but they say he might be from Haiti, some bullshit. Fraudinista Jones, whose family is from Jamaica. The Amanda Seals of the world. This is why they get these niggas with these Caribbean backgrounds to co-sign their bullshit. Because they know our folks ain't with that. They know our sisters, Angela Rye, all those people with those Caribbean backgrounds. That's very strategic of them. That's not by accident. This is why they get the Candace Owens and all these people who come from Caribbean backgrounds. Yeah, we know J. Edgar Hoover was gay. Kamala Harris, there's a reason why. Family, that's very strategic. They know that we have a certain energy that we ain't gonna go for. They know this. This is why they get these people. They don't want to get another Ida B. Wells to put them on Front Street, another foundational black American woman. That's not by accident at all. Yeah? But we got to get off this thing where we got some kind of coalition with people. We ain't got no coalition with nobody, man. We ain't got no coalition with the white LGBT community. Everything is exploitive. We damn sure don't have no black and brown coalition. Family, where are my LA people? Where's my LA people? Out here in California. Out here in LA. There was some racial incident at Paramount High School. There was another racial incident at Paramount High School. The Hispanic kids were trying to bully the black kids, and the black kids had to go out here and throw hands. Family. And from what I understand, the police came and started giving citations to all the black kids. Family, there is no coalition. Family, there is no coalition. Black adults. Let me talk to the black adults. Black adults, we can't keep telling our children that there is a black and brown coalition, and there's not. You do your black children you do them a grave injustice by running around talking about a damn black and brown coalition. Because, first of all, the Hispanic people consider themselves brown. They look at themselves as white. And you're sitting up here talking about black-brown coalition, and these white Hispanic families are telling their children, beat them niggas' asses when you see them. They ain't talking about no damn coalition. They're not teaching their children about no coalition. Only goofy ass black people are teaching their children about a fake coalition, and you're letting your children go out here to be walking ducks, sitting ducks, with walking targets on their backs. Black people, you got to stop lying to your children. Please stop lying to your black children. Ain't no black coalition. Ain't no black-brown coalition. It ain't. And a lot of black people, and let me talk to my black LA people, because see, in LA, there's a lot of black people who are immigrants themselves. There's some black people who are Caribbean. A lot of black people in LA are from Belize. Their families are Belizean. And a lot of black immigrants, or people who come from black immigrant backgrounds, these niggas have more of a camaraderie in their minds with Hispanic immigrants than they do with foundational black Americans. Let me say that again. Not even here, not just here, even on the East Coast in many places. A lot of Caribbean immigrants here and on the East Coast, let's keep it a buck, some of them feel like they have more of a camaraderie with the Latinos than they have with us. So a lot of them niggas are the main ones pushing that coalition talk. A lot of them niggas feel like, well, they come from an immigrant background. I'm an immigrant. So shit, immigrant rights, if they get some immigrant benefits, I'm going to get some too. So a lot of y'all Negroes will cape for these white Hispanics because you see yourself as the damn immigrant first. That's why niggas be trying to undermine our asses. Let's be real. Because, and I'm going to get on this later, because I had a conversation about hip hop, and it was a bunch of Negro immigrants jumping in defending some bullshit. I'm going to get on that in a minute. But just understand this. Let me show you something. Because y'all sitting up here talking about some damn coalition. Ain't no goddamn coalition, family. It never was. This is a document. This is from some Mexican American organizations from back in the day. Dude, some of the biggest Mexican, the League of, what's that? The League of LULAC. The League of United Latin American Citizens. Let me tell you something. Many of them, a lot of the Hispanics, not only did they identify as white, they viewed themselves as white supremacists. Not only did they view themselves as white, they viewed themselves as white supremacists. You understand me? And let me read some shit they were saying on this. The Mexican Americans did not object to the segregation of blacks or challenge the assumptions of white supremacy. On the contrary, they supported strict segregation of whites and blacks in schools and public facilities. And the basis for their claim for social equality was that they were also white. A group of Mexican Americans, mostly urban and middle class, founded their own organization in 1929, LULAC. They sought to set the record straight. In a 1932 article entitled Are Texas Mexicans American?, the author asserted that Mexican Americans were the first white race to inhabit this vast empire of ours. You dig? So they looked at themselves as white. And let me go on and read the bottom. It says the LULAC members considered it an insult to be associated with black people or other colored races. In 1936, an official deplored the practices of hiring Negro musicians to play at the Mexican balls because it led to illicit relations between black men and ill-informed Mexican girls. And they said, tell these Negroes we're not going to permit our manhood and womanhood to mingle with them on an equal or social basis. Dude, These folks have always practiced anti-black racism. Remember George Lopez told that joke? A lot of folks felt a certain way about it, but it was a real joke. He said in the Mexican community, he said, we're taught two things. I forgot what the first one was. Don't leave the door open to something. He said, we're taught two things. Don't do something and don't marry a black person. And folks felt a certain way about that. But he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. That I used to have a couple of Mexican dudes call my show like, hey, man, how do I get with a black girl? You know, they want to know how to get with the sisters and all that. And I asked them, I said, well, y'all feel the same way when brothers are getting after y'all chicks? And they got kind of quiet. They do feel like that. Mexican dudes do not like you smashing their women. You dig? They do not like that. I've smashed a couple of Mexican chicks before. Back in my younger days, I was an international player. They would always have to be on the sneak and do it. It was always on some sneak shit. You know, I'm like, bitch, I'm not doing that. It ain't that serious. I'm not sneaking. I ain't about to sneak around with you, Esmeralda. Get on with that bullshit. Yeah, they were just terrified of getting caught. They love a black dick, though. Yeah, we in this together. Oh, yeah, I smashed a couple of Mexican chicks before. Back in the day. Yeah, they have to sneak and do the shit. Yeah. You did? But yeah, those dudes, they don't like you smashing their women. They don't like that at all. But Mexican girls do that on the low. They do that on the low. Yeah? And when they do it, they get disowned. If they do it openly, you know, unless they get with a balling ass brother, unless they get like an athlete or some shit, you know, then it's acceptable. Yeah. Is it Esmeralda? Yeah. Yeah, nigga. Say Eva Longoro's on a big black cock. Hilarious. She's on the BBC right now. But, dude, I was having a conversation. I was talking about this. We had a little debate about this on Twitter. And it was some immigrant coons caping for this. There's been a narrative. There's been a narrative that I've been seeing pop up lately. I've been seeing it pop up here and there. But this narrative that hip hop was started or co-created by Puerto Ricans. I've seen a couple of people say this narrative. And they would say it kind of in a disrespectful way. But I've seen this narrative pop up a few times. A few people have said this. A couple of Puerto Ricans have said this. And they'll say it and then kind of run away from it. Say, y'all saying I was a burrito buck? No. I was in control of the game. No. I was completely in control of the game. I wasn't walking around with the sombrero talking about all lives matter. No. But no, I'm not going to roast Puerto Ricans. I'm not roasting Puerto Ricans. But saying that hip hop was created by Puerto Ricans is a damn lie. You're not going to lie and just kind of stick a lie out there and, you know, we ain't going to say nothing about it. That's not true. If you put a lie out there, you put something out there, you're going to have some facts to back it up. Puerto Ricans did not start hip hop. Let's be very clear. Puerto Ricans didn't start hip hop. They didn't. Now, being around some of the early pioneers don't mean you started it. You know? Let's be very clear. You got to watch when people start saying stuff like that. Now, and again, I've had some Negroes try to argue with me. Well, there were Puerto Ricans in the Bronx at the time. So, what that mean? What the hell does that mean? That don't mean shit just because you were around. You didn't create it. You didn't create what? Okay, I want somebody in the chat room. If what credence can you lend to that? What credence could you lend to that? That some Puerto Ricans started hip hop in any sense of the word. The main elements of hip hop is the rapping, DJing, and the dancing. Let's get into this. Let's start. Not even Jamaican dancehall. That's another misnomer. Some people say, well, Jamaican dancehall. No, it didn't. No. Well, let's talk history here. We got to talk history. It wasn't dance hall music. No. It wasn't dance hall music. It wasn't dance hall. They attribute hip hop being started by Kool Herc, but Kool Herc got all the elements from foundational Black Americans. Let's be very clear. Technically, we can make an argument that Kool Herc got, it's not even technical, he got a lot of the elements that were already there. And I'm not going to disrespect Kool Herc because I got a lot of respect for Kool Herc. Kool Herc, what he did was bring the sound system. It wasn't the dance hall music. From what I understand, Kool Herc, when he tried to play reggae, the audiences didn't want to hear reggae. So it wasn't reggae. Reggae had nothing to do with the influence of hip hop here in America. Kool Herc tried to play reggae from what I understand, and he said they weren't fucking with it. Kool Herc basically brought the sound system. He brought a big sound system and having the street parties, and that got the ball rolling, but you got a bunch of elements that were already there. Yeah, Kool Herc didn't play reggae. See, don't get people think because he was, dancehall didn't exist at the time. They think because he was Jamaican, he was playing Jamaican music. No, he wasn't. He wasn't playing Jamaican music. He was playing funk records. He was playing the break beats from funk records. James Brown, shit like that. Herc was playing the break beats from funk records, foundational Black Americans. Yeah? Let's be very clear. I'm trying to see whether the Puerto Ricans come in on this. Where did the Puerto Ricans come? They weren't rhyming, they weren't spitting. Brother, Black people have been rhyming in the form of what we can call rap since the 1920s on record. I played some clips. Brother, we've been doing this shit. Rap. What is rap? Let's break this thing down. Let's talk history. Let's just talk history. Pig Meat Markham, his song, Here Come the Judge. Dude, that's a rap song. It was made in 1968, and he's rapping. I'll play the shit. He's rapping in 4-bar increments. He's rapping over a beat. This is a song called Here Comes the Judge. Let me play some of this stuff here while I'm talking to you. Now, we're going to have some history lessons on today's show. Let's do history lessons today. Mac lessons, history lessons. We go even deeper than Pig Meat. We can go even deeper than Pig Meat Markham. Because there was a lot of rap type records in the 1960s. Hold on. Yeah, because I want to see what some damn Puerto Ricans had to do with this. Because we've been rhyming for years. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. This is from 1968. That dude, that's rapping right there. That dude is rapping right there. That's 4-bar increments, rapping over a beat. You can mix that with a beat now. That's rap right there. This was before Herc. No disrespect to Herc, but I'm saying we were rapping before. We were already rapping. And the name rap, we were using those words, we were using those terms in the 50s and 60s for talking. You had people like H. Rap Brown, if you had a tight mouthpiece, that was rapping. You can rap. Let me rap for a minute. These were terms that we created, fam. Let me go to this. This is from the 1930s and 40s. The Preacher and the Bear. Hold on. Let me show y'all this. Hold on. These brothers right here. Hold on, they're gonna start busting in a second. Hold on. They mix it up a little bit. This is the Jubilaires.
Yes, just come on, brothers, if you want to hear a story about that preacher and the bear. Gather round, boys, I don't want you to miss none of this here story, because it goes like this. A preacher, he went out to hunt. It was on one.
So again, man, we've been doing this stuff, man. I mean, you got dudes doing this stuff going all the way back to the 1920s, dude. You got brothers doing this stuff going all the way back to the 1920s. There's records with brothers in rap. Come here. Yes, I do. Come here, baby. What's up, Sue? Where you going to get food? Okay, come here. Come say hi to everybody. They still up? They playing with the toy? They still up this late? Come here and say hi, Lexi.
Not that late.
Oh, yeah, it is still kind of early.
School tomorrow.
They don't have school?
No, it's President's Day.
I didn't know that. Man, now look at my fine fucking wife, man. Look how fine this thing is. Hey, sweetie. How you doing, Lexi? Look how fine my goddamn wife
hungry.
is. Sexy as fucking hell. What you gonna get here? Oh, you gonna order? You order?
Mexican.
I had Mexican last night.
I don't know which one. What are you talking about here?
I'm just talking about different stuff.
Why you put that? I mean, like, out to the streets.
I know. I told her ass, like, let me see the cake, and she gonna turn around and start twerking.
You said the cakes.
I said cake. I said
we know
cake.
what that means.
I said the cake, singular, not plural. Lord.
Alright, I'm gonna get you something.
Give me some
I
barbecue.
gotta see what's open because it's Sunday and it's already 9.
Yeah, if barbecue would be cool. That's my. Oh yeah, my wife is fine as hell. Ain't she fine, motherfucker? Fine as fucking hell. Sexy thing, you. This is where we got all them kids. Man. Yeah, I didn't know that there was no school tomorrow. I did not know that. I did not know that. Man, she like Faith Evans and a prime. Yeah, my fine ass fucking wife. Sexy as hell. But like I was saying, I'm talking about, us creating this stuff. I'm talking about us creating this stuff. Again, we were rapping, doing a form of rapping. What the hell is this? What is this? Oh, I know what this is. We were doing that. We were doing that a form of rap, going all the way. Hell, probably before the records were made, because I've heard records back going to the 1920s where dudes was doing like what these brothers was doing. The bebop, Cab Calloway. These brothers, rapping is basically you're doing atonal rhyming over a beat. You're doing atonal syncopated rhymes that's over a beat. Your tone, you're not committing to a particular note. All right? You're not committing to any kind of particular note, so you're doing. Everything is pretty much atonal, and that's why anybody can do it. That's why a lot of people can, because you don't have to have a certain note. So the cadence we've been doing this shit for decades. So now we're getting into the influence. So you can't say the Puerto Ricans didn't influence that. The freestyle. So, okay, so we were already doing the rapping part of it. We're already doing that. So I want to know, we know the Puerto Ricans didn't create it, and this is no disrespect to Puerto Ricans. I'm not disrespecting. We're just talking history. Even Grandmaster Cass said, and the Puerto Ricans, they came and started doing the shit we were doing. They came later, but no, we've been doing this shit. So this is what I want to know. I want to know, what the hell you talking about? What did you influence? You did? What did they influence as far as the creation of hip hop? Well, see, we gotta not let people co-opt our history. We gotta be very careful of that. The B-boys were the breakers. Let me get on that. I get on that in a minute. Let me get on that in a minute. I get on that in a minute because they didn't create none of that shit. They didn't create that stuff. I get on the dancing in a minute. I get on that in a minute because people try to say that. No, we'll get on that in a minute. Because, okay, they didn't influence the DJing because you had Flash, you had Hurt, you had Grand Wizard Theodore. So Puerto Ricans didn't have any. Now, you had some Puerto Rican DJs who came through later, but as far as Flash and Wiz, Grand Wizard Theodore, it was the black DJs doing this shit. You understand? So it wasn't the DJing. Okay, it wasn't the rapping. It wasn't the DJing. Wasn't really the graffiti. Because black people, we were doing graffiti before, and another famous graffiti artist in New York, what's his name? The Taki dude? What was that famous? It was a famous graffiti dude in New York in the early 70s. He was very famous. Was it Taki 187 or some shit? What was his name? All my New Yorkers. What was that guy's name? I want to say his name was Taki, some shit. What was that guy's name? Where are my New Yorkers? Charlie Chase was later, though. Charlie Chase, he DJed for Cold Crush, but he was later. Was it Taki 182? Or 183, some shit like that? He wasn't Puerto Rican. They did a movie about Taki. It was Turk 187. They did a movie about him in the 80s. But the Taki guy, Taki 183, he was Greek. He wasn't Puerto Rican. The Taki guy, he was Greek or some shit. So we can't say it was the graffiti, because that was already being done. So come on, where's the Puerto Rican influence coming in? So what, the dancing? No. Because the brothers, look, no, let's get on that. They didn't create those dances. Let me tell you something. The Rocksteady crew, they really got it popping in the early 80s. They technically got started in 77. And around 77, a lot of the black dudes were getting away from breaking in the Bronx. In the early 70s, when hip-hop first got started, you had people like a group called the Nigga Twins. That's the name of their group. They were some of the earliest breakers. And what they were doing, they were basically doing James Brown shit. They would get on the floor, do some James Brown type shit. You understand? Crazy Legs and all them dudes came later. They came later. See, this is why y'all need to know history. They came later. And hold on, where's this? I got a clip of Cass. Where's Grandmaster Cass? Hold on, sure, we'll have Grandmaster fucking Cass say what the damn business was. Hold on one second. Okay, hold on. Let me show y'all this. Hold on. This is what Grandmaster Cass had to say about this. Now Grandmaster Cass is a pioneer. This is Grandmaster Cass. This is what he has to say about Puerto Ricans. Dancers.
The earliest and first B-boys were black. All the crews and mostly everybody was black. When Latinos started breaking, they were emulating what they saw, the black people doing. Okay, that's just a fact.
That's it. That's Grandmaster Cass right there. The legendary Grandmaster Cass. He said that the Latino dudes, they came later. They came way later. Just started emulating what the black dudes were doing, which is true. Let me tell y'all something, dude. With breakdance and all that shit, a lot of that influence came from the West Coast. let's talk history here. A lot of the hip hop dance moves, a lot of that shit was influenced from the West Coast. The West Coast, they don't get enough credit for that shit. Remember, a lot of the shit from the West Coast was being broadcast on TV. A lot of those dudes were on Soul Train. So you're on Soul Train. This is in the early 70s. The Lockers, Campbell Lock, and all those dudes, all of them were on Soul Train doing some of those moves on the ground and all that shit. How am I supposed to say I'm tripping? Bullshit. Nigga, you had street dancers on Soul Train every week getting it in the early 70s. Nigga, you think that didn't influence everybody? Let's keep it a buck, dude. Let's keep it a buck. And them dudes was doing moves, hitting the flow, doing little shit on the flow. That influenced the game, dude. No, let's just keep it real. A lot of dances that we do now came from the West Coast. And to keep it a real buck, a lot of it came from the Bay Area. A lot of shit came from the Bay Area. In the Bay Area had some incredible dances. Going into the 60s, early 70s, they had the strutting dances. Popping. A lot of that shit came out of Northern California. Fresno, Oakland, all that shit was coming out of Northern California. Oakland, a lot of shit came out of Oakland. Oakland got some incredible damn dances. I'm making it make sense. A lot of shit was coming out of Oakland. Them niggas in the Oakland and the Bay, incredible dances. Them dudes, it was a group called Demons of the Mind. They were doing some of these robotic types of shit in early 70s. And Fresno, popping, that came from Poppin' Pete, Boogaloo Sam. Poppin' Pete is still dancing to this day. Poppin' Pete, Boogaloo Sam. Yeah? Yeah, these were the people teaching Michael Jackson on the moonwalk. They've been doing the moonwalk and all that shit. Yeah, Rerun is from California. And then you go down when Boogaloo Sam and Poppin' Pete moved down to LA. I think they moved to Long Beach. They start getting with the Lockers, Don Campbell Lock, because Don Campbell Lock had the locking dance. If you go look at the movie Watch Stack, you can see them locking all the way in 72, 73. So when they came down with the popping and the locking, they mixed it and they started calling it pop locking. So this stuff is, you could see the films of black folks on the West Coast popping and locking, doing these street dances that people are still doing. You dig? So these dances were coming from the hoods of the West Coast. A lot of it was coming out of the hoods of the West Coast. Yeah? So a lot of people in the Bronx, they were influenced by that. They were influenced by it. Let's keep it a buck. If you watch Soul Train, you were influenced by that shit. And then you put your own thing to it. Yeah? Yeah, Shabba Doo was black and Puerto Rican, but he wasn't a pioneer. Because Shabba Doo, he basically does a lot of locking, and that comes from Don Campbell Lock from Watts. Don Campbell, I call him Campbell Lock, but he's from Don Campbell is from Watts. That's where locking came from. Yeah? And that's where Shabba Doo got that from. Understand where he got it from. Shabba Doo got his locking from Don Campbell, who was from Watts. And Boogaloo Shrimp, Turbo, he got the Boogaloo dancing and all that. He got that from Poppin' Pete and Boogaloo Sam. Yeah, the robot, that came out of Oakland. Yeah, Michael Chambers, he's incredible. So yeah, pop locking, yeah. Popping came from Fresno. Locking came from Watts. When they got together, they just started calling it pop locking. Yeah, the Oakland Strutters, those strutting dances, those were like hip-hop dances that people do now. Yes, Shabba Doo was in the Lockers. He was in the Lockers. Rerun was in the Lockers. Yeah. So we got to understand that. So when the Puerto Rican cats from the Rocksteady crew and all these other dudes in the 80s, you know, they got some of those old moves and they started doing it. And, you know, it started to spread more in the 80s because of, you know, the hip hop influence started to spread more because of, you know, the rap songs. So hip hop started to spread and some of those old dances started to spread. Because by the time breakdancing started spreading in the 80s, it was kind of old. It was already old in New York. You remember how many of y'all from the Bay know about Demons of the Mind? If you, and I want to find some, I saw some video of them years ago. I haven't seen nothing on them in a long time, but I've seen old videos of them like from 1975, and them they like doing modern shit that people are doing now. This group up there in the Bay Area. So I'm trying to see where's the Puerto Rican creation. I'm trying to see where the Puerto Rican creation is on any of this stuff, on the DJing, on the dancing, on the rhyming, on the graffiti. I'm trying to see where's the Puerto Rican creation. Coming along and doing some shit you see other people doing ain't creating. That's why that's disrespectful to even say. Well, we was around. No, you being around don't mean you created the shit. Yeah, you being around don't mean you created a goddamn thing. Yeah? There's a documentary on Demon of the Mind. I'm going to see that. I'm going to see that documentary. I would like to see that. Yeah, that's not creating anything just because you saw somebody doing some shit and then you started doing it. Oh, look what I created. No. See, we got to watch that. We got to watch when people start saying, well, us Puerto Ricans, we helped create it. Because when y'all start doing that, because, well, since we helped create it, we going to help let other white people co-opt it because we white too. See, no. We can't do that now. Now, if y'all want to talk about some reggaeton, I give that to you. Y'all some reggaeton doing motherfuckers, I give that to you. Y'all ain't no joke with reggaeton. But to say y'all created hip hop or even co-created it is that's some bullshit. That's bullshit. And you know it's bullshit. And if you did create it, start naming some of the creators. Don't just name no random people. Who are the creators then? I can name a Kool Herc. I can name the first black person who did this. I can name a black, you see what I'm doing now? I can name the person who started popping. I can name the black person who started locking. I can show you a black person who was doing the moonwalk. There's a video of a black man doing the moonwalk from in the 1940s. The dancers doing the moonwalk from the 1940s, and they started picking it up in the 70s, and they taught Michael Jackson that. Jeffrey Daniel taught Michael Jackson the moonwalk, and Jeffrey got it from Poppin' Pete and all those dudes. Yeah? Let's just be real. We got to watch when people start saying some shit that's disrespectful. You better watch that, because that's how people start co-opting your shit. Y'all sitting up here talking about some damn black-brown coalition, and people start co-opting your shit, and then you an outsider, just like they did with country, just like they did with rock. You understand? We got to watch that. That's why rock, you look at rock music, it's all white now. Hell, R&B. When you look at R&B, what you think about? Justin Timberlake, Justin Bieber. We got to watch that. That's why I be doing these Mink Slide albums. That's one of the things, to keep the R&B legacy in our hands, to control it, to control the R&B narrative. That's why I make traditional funk records. Yeah? We got to mark our culture. We have to mark our culture. Trying to do it with jazz, exactly. I found that LULAC article online. I just Googled that. Just Google that, man. That organization said a bunch of slick shit about black people, by the way. Yeah. So this is why, man, we got to watch letting other people latch on and try to say they created something. When they do that, their only purpose is to co-opt it. You better watch that. That's why Smokey Robinson and all those Motown Negroes who sat up there and let J-Lo get up there doing that whack-ass Motown tribute. That shit was horrible. And the reason why they did it is so that they can start co-opting all of our shit. Nigga, if you're going to do a Motown tribute, why wouldn't you get Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson, oh, so many sisters out here. What's that sister's name? Jasmine Sullivan, Layla Hathaway, Lettucey. So many sisters who could have did that and just got it popping. Yeah? We got to watch this stuff. We got to watch it. I feel like I'm freezing up here a little bit. Hold on. But yeah, we got to watch people trying to co-opt our joints, man. We can't let that. Yeah, Barry Gordy dropped it, but he been dropped the ball. Yeah, buddy. Oh, I'm freezing. Oh, shit. Let me take some of this shit off my. All right. But yeah. I want somebody to. Yeah, Alicia Keys could have done a good job on that. Yeah, but I want somebody to tell me where the Puerto Rican stuff comes in. And this ain't no disrespect to y'all. Yeah, Kiki Wyatt, her and 10 of her kids, her kids could have sung background. All them kids. Yeah, Kiki Wyatt, so many folks. Rosie Perez created hip hop. Shit. Yeah, no, no. We got to stop letting folks co-opt our stuff. We got to stop letting people co-opt our shit. Yeah? Because let me tell you something. They damn sure don't let you co-opt their shit. They don't let you co-opt what they got going on. Yeah? Nigga, they put you on the outs. Let a black American start doing some salsa music and start making it pop off. I mean, not just one salsa song. You got a whole album of salsa music. They have something to say about that. They're not going to let you perform at their award shows. Let me tell you something. Remember when Beyonce did that country record? I always bring this up. Beyonce is hands down one of the best singers out there. She can sing better than any country artist, but she did that song called Daddy Issues or some shit and released it as a single, sent it to the Grammys, and they were like, the Grammy Country nominating committee, they were like, no. We don't give a damn if this is Beyonce. See, niggas be like, well, damn, it's J-Lo. We gotta let her sing. Shit. J-Lo, we gotta let her. That J-Lo, she's a big star. We gotta let J-Lo do the Motown tribute. Beyonce is bigger than J-Lo as far as talent and everything else. They were like, nope, country, you got a country song? We don't give a damn who you are. Nope, you're not gonna be nominated for country. Nope, you're not gonna take over our shit. Not gonna let you do it. They're like, hell no. Yeah? They don't play that game. They ain't letting you co-opt their shit. They ain't letting us get off in their mix and take over. They ain't about to let that happen. They close the doors on us, and we got to learn how to circle our wagons and not let our stuff get co-opted. We got to stop letting our R&B get co-opted. That's why the Mink Slide album is coming. We're going to probably be finished with the Mink Slide album probably this week. We're going to knock most of everything out. And I got 2 names I want to choose from for the album. I got 2 names that I'm going to choose from. But it's a very fun album. Very, very fun album. You know? But yeah, stop letting folks co-opt your shit. Learn how to take control of the narrative. Stop trying to get fake ass allies that are not there. Stop being afraid to look to other black, foundational black Americans and other black people and say, hey, look, we're going to hold each other down. We're going to hold each other down. You dig? Anyway, let me get out of here, man. Go to hiddencolorsfilm.com. It's a lot of y'all in here. hiddencolorsfilm.com. Go to hiddencolorsfilm.com, ladies and gentlemen. We got the sale going on for the Hidden Colors 1 through 5 plus the 1804 DVD. Also, go to the Foundational Black American Conference site. That's FBAC2020.com. FBAC2020.com. Get your tickets for the Foundational Black American Conference happening Juneteenth weekend, June 20th, Saturday, Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to be the biggest event of the year. Me, Judge Joe Brown, Brother Kaba Kamade, Professor James Smalls, Boyce Watkins, Riza Islam, Shahrazad Ali. Oh, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Go to FBAC2020.com. Get your tickets, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to holla. Y'all be good.